Hello and welcome. Laravel developers come up with very special tools and systems ever. We can look at a number of them. If you Google, you're able to see this. You look at this, you look at this, you look at this, you look at this. Very impressive in terms of aesthetics and even the system behind the development. And you realize that the major problem of the developers is coming up with the database. You take days and months and weeks and so on. However, our Able team has come up with a very special tool, Bunilaravel, that is able to reduce the time used to develop the database for more than half. And this tool is special in the sense that you are able to develop the schemas and the special models. You simply drag and drop, eventually do various adjustments the way you may want them, and export a very robust and efficient application code. You'll find this to be very interesting as you begin from this point moving forth. Welcome.
And disable suggesting field templates and other configurations. You can change the default model color, the default actions on update of foreign keys, whether cascade or restrict. You can change the default base model. You can change also the timestamp models or soft deleting. You can change the primary key column. You can also change the primary key type, whether integer or string. You can change the connection name, default date created column, default fill all, or if a field will be fillable in default. You also disable down method or use anonymous classes in migrations. You can also change the export paths. In CRUD settings, you can change how your CRUD files will be generated. You can also view the shortcuts, either enable or disable the shortcuts. So we're going to start. You can either create a model by clicking on the ribbon menu or double click anywhere. So type the model name, configure your model. You can change the table name, the storage engine, date format, so and so. You can also change the export settings of your model. So having done that, we're going to change the color, and then we'll start defining our fields. So we're going to start with the name field. We're going to add an email field and password field. And then we're going to actually save our model. Click save. After saving that model, we're going to add another model, a user model. And now we're going to add the phone model. So type the model name. We're going to define the fields, the name and the model of the phone. Then we're going to add a foreign key, that is user ID, pointing to the user model, the one you created earlier. You can actually change the indexes, foreign keys, relationships and factory definitions of your model. So after saving, we're going to create a relationship between the user and phone model. As you can see, it has been suggested for us automatically as one or as many. Just select and click build. You can also create an inverse, where in this case it belongs to relationship between phone and user. So that's our has many relationship between user and phone. Next, we're going to create a new model, a role model this time. Type the name, then save our model. After this, let's change the color for beauty. Then after this, we are going to create actually a pivot table. So to create a pivot model, just click on pivot table on the ribbon menu and then select the two models, the user and role in this case. The table will be created, role user. So this table will connect the user and role model. So when you create a relationship between the user and role, automatically belongs to many will be suggested for you, build a relationship. You can also create has one, has many, automatically it will be suggested by Bunilaravel. Also belongs to will be suggested automatically. Belongs to many, you create first of all the pivot model, the pivot table, and then when you create your relationship, it will be automatically suggested by Bunilaravel, as you can see. The next relationship is the true, has one or has many true, automatically suggested by Bunilaravel when you drag and drop to the target model. So we have seen the relationships, how they work in Bunilaravel. So next we are going to look at code export. Now after we have designed our beautiful models, next we are going to look at how Bunilaravel exports your code. So we are going to click on export to ORM, and then automatically we are going to check the files that will be generated. You can view a file by double clicking. As you can see, this is the migration. All the fields are defined there for you automatically. You don't have to type them manually. And then the factory is also defined for you automatically. You don't have to type. After the factory, the CEDA file will also be defined for you. And then of course the model with all relationships and properties filled in automatically, as you can see. So these are the files. You have seen the relationship and the belongs to that was created by Inverse. After this, when you are satisfied with the files, you can export them to your project now by clicking on export files. That's after you have confirmed everything in your data to be correct. So export files, then press OK. Wait for a little bit, then it's exported. You can click run migration, then it will be run from this, or you can go to code directly. So right now we are going to run it from VS Code terminal. As you can see, I'm going to type my artisan migrate. First of all, let me change the DB access details. I'm going to put password here, database Bunilaravel test, and okay, I'm going to run PHP artisan migrate. Okay, so I think the password is wrong there. We are going to actually change and input the correct password. So in this case, I'm going to change the password and put in the correct password. Then I'll come back to terminal and run PHP migrate again. As you can see, the table is created. So we can go and actually explore the table in SQLib. First of all, let's look at the user model that was exported. As you can see, all the code has already been exported to your project. So next we are going to look at the project having run the migration. Now we're back to Bunilaravel. So Bunilaravel allows you to create tabs to group your models. So double click, get a new tab, add a new model. In this case, you are going to be adding a student model. So type the model name, and then we're going to add the fields: registration number, the name, the gender. Automatically will be given a choice of the enum drop downs, which is male, female, and other. After which we save our model. As you can see, it's grouped. So we have two models, the default and the tab 1. As you can see, it's actually all the models are there in the navigation. Let's change the namespace and save. As you can see, it's reflected automatically in the sidebar. So Bunilaravel supports nested namespaces if you actually need. You can hide the navigation if you want more space. You can also hide the ribbon menu to get more space for designing your models, so you get more space here. So you have a minimap. You can hide the minimap. This minimap can be used to actually, let's look at, you can use it to scroll when you have too many models. You can use it to scroll. Another thing we have is the notes. You can create a note which you can use to remind yourself or your team. So just add a note and type your message there. In this case, let me type my message. So this note will actually persist across teams. You can share notes with your team members. Team members can share notes with you, suggestions and everything. You can even add tasks. And also the models, actually you can change the model color. You can give the notes different colors depending on the context, according to the preferences of your team. So let's change this color to pink. As you can see, you can change it, you can resize and then you can also hide the notes if you don't want clutter. Hide and show, all is supported there. And then you have is you can import models. You can import an existing database. You don't have to start from scratch. If you have an existing project, you can just import it and automatically the tables will be imported to Bunilaravel. Then click import, it will be imported to Bunilaravel. So next we are going to actually look at exporting your schema as PNG. You can export it as a PNG image so that you can share with other team members. If you want, you can also version your project. As you can see, this is the first version. We're going to look no changes because it's the first version. So let's tag a new version here. So first we can edit the version name. Let's tag a new version. Tag new version. Add the version number 101. Then let's add a description for what we have changed. So let me just say check changes, and then we save. A new version is actually created. You can switch between these two versions. So we can actually look at the changes between the two. So let's make a change on this model, the phone model. We're going to add a new field, date of manufacture, and then we're going to save it, and then we're going to look at the changes in this version. So when you click the view changes, it will tell us created a new field, date of manufacture. This is easy for tracking your changes across the team, which will come in handy when you work in a big project and you want maybe to move back and forth across different versions of your database. So another thing we are going to actually look at is generation of CRUDs. Of course, that's at the end of the project when you are finished. I think is you can clone a model. We clone a model and then continue from there. Just change a few details and you have another model on your own. Another thing you can do with Bunilaravel is you can actually resize the viewport. We have the resizer down there. You can resize if you have too many models so that you can work can be easier for you. You can move around everything. That's all. Thank you for watching our video.